What's up, Big Blue Nation? It's your boy Bradley B-Row back in the building. And each week, I have a guest on. And this week I have a special guest. This is one of my favorites, former Wildcat Keenan Burton, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, though, man. Just trying to survive like everybody else, I guess. Man, how you been? How you been during all this pandemic, man? How you surviving?
I've been good, man. Shoot, I mean, I got my 3-year-old running around everywhere, so he keep me healthy, keep me active, And me and my wife spent a lot of time. We spent a lot of time together, so it's been good, and just making the best of it. I feel like depending on the situation, if you really look at it, either you're gonna get better during this time or you're gonna get worse. And I refuse to get worse. I'll always pick the latter. I'll pick better.
Hey, that's a good way of thinking there, man. That's a good way of thinking. I guess, man, we're going to start off with your high school days, man. You out of Louisville, DuPont Manual. You were Mr. Everything. You played quarterback, receiver, offensive line, I guess. Who knows? I know you played every position there. Just talk about playing at Manual, man, and your role there when you were, there at the school.
I think it was just to be what was necessary for us to win. I believe. I mean, I look back, and I did play a lot of positions. I was a player that wore a lot of hats, and I think that was just this big expectation of me to do things that really helped us win. And so I enjoyed the responsibility, and I think it really molded me for the next phase of my career as I got to college and had to lead and stuff like that.
You also play a little bit of basketball. I know a lot of people know you for your football, but you were a hooper too, man. Talk about your basketball skills you had.
Oh yeah, well see, and anybody can get it now too. Still, I mean, I don't care who you are. Ravi, Eric, Dan, whoever want to get it, y'all can get it. Just so I'm clear. But no, man, yeah, I played basketball. I was a solid player. I wasn't a shooter because I grew up in the hood, and in the hood you got double rims, and so double ribs are unforgivable. And so at some point you just decide, you know what, I'm done shooting jumpers. I'm gonna go and get my layup and my dunk on. But it helped me become really athletic playing basketball, and then the conditioning aspect of it was very beneficial for me. But it was something I wish I would have pursued more of. I wish Tubby would have gave me an opportunity to play. He was sleeping. He was asleep.
I think Tubby's up on a lot of players, right?
Right.
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 I guess coming out of high school, man, let's talk about your recruitment, man. Obviously, you were recruited by Kentucky. I know you were recruited by Louisville, IU, some surrounding schools here. What was that like for you? What made you, I guess, narrow it down and say, you know what, I'm going to go to the University of Kentucky?
So the schools that you see on that list outside of Kentucky didn't recruit me, nor did they offer me. So I didn't have a lot of offers coming out of high school. I didn't know why I didn't. Louisville did not offer me until Petrino came, and it was after I committed to Kentucky. And so I didn't necessarily narrow it down. It basically was Kentucky picked me. I went to a camp after my junior year to Northwestern and did really well, but they still didn't offer. And so once Kentucky came with the offer, it was over for me. I mean, I had an opportunity, and blue and white it felt good, man. It fit good.
Yeah, it's a good school, man. And you look good in that blue and white. And I guess when you first got there, man, you kind of had to deal with some injuries, and before you could really kind of get your feet wet. Just talk about how frustrated that was for you to kind of, I guess, battle through those injuries, but also still trying to get yourself on the field.
Well, my first year I was fine. I mean, I started some games as a freshman, had some really huge catches, touchdowns as a freshman. And then, going into my second year, I got hurt. And it was frustrating, man. I mean, because, I had this thought that what if I could come here and actually become the best receiver that ever played, at this university. And I think I'm extremely close. In fact, I put myself up there amongst anybody. And so, I just wished I would have been healthy enough to really make it where it was not a conversation, what I'm saying, where it wasn't, because a lot of people don't realize that I literally only played two full seasons. Mm-hmm. And I did what I did in 2 full seasons, in which the second season I was hurt, And so if I would have really been able to showcase my talent for 4 years or 3 years, depending on if I would have decided to stay or go to the NFL, I just wonder what I would have done. So it was definitely frustrating, and it's frustrating now even thinking about it.
Well, I'm not trying to bring up any bad memories for you because you did do your thing. I had written down here. I think you're fourth in school history in receptions. You're third in receiving yards, second in TDs, and then the fifth player to get over 4,000 yards. So all-purpose yards. So I think you kind of left your mark at Kentucky. Just talk about that accomplishment, and plus the other players you played around. You had, I think your senior year, I think you had 14 guys that went to the NFL, went on to play in the NFL. Just talk about that talent and the mark you did make with all that talent around you.
Well, I got to correct you. I'm second in receiving yards.
So, my bad.
No, you good. You good. I just want to let people know what time it is.
Hey,
but no, but that's what made it so fun, man. I mean, you got to think. I mean, to go from, Dwayne Robinson getting drafted, which I think he might have been the only one, and then you got Sweet Pea a couple of years after him, and Antonio Hall getting drafted, I think, late. There wasn't really a lot of guys that were excelling. Shane Boyd went to the league and had a really successful career and still playing professional football. But to have those guys that were just so talented, so driven, and none of us were 4 or 5 stars. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were 2, 3 stars, worked our way up, probably wasn't really highly ranked or recruited, and we made a decision. And then, as you think about it, you have to have talent for that many guys to get an opportunity to play at the next level. So it just made me raise my level of excellence, but then also made me appreciate, who I was actually in the trenches with, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, that talent definitely makes you better when you have more talent around yourself and to elevate your game. You definitely did that. And you played for a guy named Rich Brooks, Coach Rich Brooks, man. When he first came in, everybody was like, man, this guy's too old to be coaching these young dudes. He ain't going to be able to achieve, what he needs to achieve. I guess, man, tell us about Coach Brooks, man, what he was like to be around him. And he had a lot of success when you guys were there.
Yeah, so Coach Brooks was, I would probably say that he is probably one of the biggest factors in my development from being a young man to a man, because of the philosophies and principles that he taught. But he was tough, man. When he first came, he was tough, man. He's old school, hard nosed. And back then, two-a-days were two-a-days. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a grind. And but he loved you, and he wanted you to buy in. And there were some things that he had to do strategically, I believe, that rubbed a lot of players the wrong way, as far as guys that were there before me and had Guy Morris as their head coach. I just, because I didn't know any better, I just wanted to prove myself and work hard. And he gave me a platform to do that on. And so, even though he was as tough as he was, Coach Brooks was still just such an amazing human being, amazing person, that he really cared about the guys. He really wanted us to succeed, not only in football, but in life as well. And he didn't show any favoritism. He cussed me out just as much as he cussed anybody else out. And so you got to respect somebody like that.
Yeah, no, it's always good to have a coach who can motivate you, push you, because he sees the talent in you, and he did that to you and along a lot of the others that were there. And I think one of your first touchdowns you had was you caught a pass from Jared Lorenzen, who's passed away. I think we came up with this on a year your last couple of days on that. Just talk about the player Jared Lorenzen, man. He obviously threw your first touchdown. I know it's more than just scoring touchdowns, but it's like a brother for you. Just talk about his legacy and what kind of quarterback he was.
Well, his legacy is gonna live forever. Even though he's not here, he is gonna live forever. Everybody, I believe, I think he's global. Everybody knows about the Pillsbury Throw Boy. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, he believed in me when I first came into University of Kentucky, and him and even Shane too. I mean, both of them believed in me, but specifically for Jared, though, he trusted me to say, you know what, I'm gonna give you an opportunity. Go up and catch this pass in practice. We were doing 7-on-7 with K-State, and that was the first pass that I caught from him, and he threw this wild duck, and it was spinning end over end. I don't know, maybe he was trying to test me, and it hit me square in my chest, and I still feel the laces in my. I mean, that's just the type of guy that he was, but you just see his tenacity. You see his desire to win, his hunger to be great, to lead and to prove people wrong. And he was unapologetic about that. He wanted to win at all costs, and he did whatever was necessary to do it, and so he's going to be missed. We'll never forget about Jared. We'll never forget him. And it's gone way too soon.
Yeah, it's hard to really hit home because I remember playing against Jared in high school basketball. He was at Highlands. I was at Fleming County, played against him and Derek Smith both. They both were amazing athletes, and he's definitely going to be missed. I guess, man, do you have a memorable moment? Because there's a lot of games that you played in that were, memorable. I can remember the Louisville game, the Stevie got loose game. Is there any memorable moments for you that you're like, man, that really stuck out? That was one of my favorite times at UK.
I think Georgia is probably my most memorable moment, if I'm being honest, man. Georgia probably would be the best moment because I think that catapulted everything that happened the next year. And so to beat a team like that at home and our fans get a chance to enjoy it, that made it really special. But anytime you beat the number one team in the nation at home, how do you you know what I'm saying? They go on to win a national championship. How do you compare? There's no comparison. So if I had to pick one, I would probably say Georgia would be my favorite moment.
I guess I'm going to transition to the program now. Mark Stoops, I got to get your thought on him. I know you come back, you go to games, and he's had opportunity to bring a lot of the guys that played there before he got there, yourself and Andre Woodson and all the older classes. But just talk about the job that I guess Mark Stoops is doing there for the program at Kentucky and how much, I guess, it's now getting more national attention.
So I don't really know Coach Stoops like that. I've met him one time. He did graciously invite us back and want to have us back, but I don't really have a relationship with him. But from the outside looking in, he's doing an incredible job. I think somebody came out to say that he has the best job in the nation. The Kentucky job is the best job in the nation, and no slight or disrespect to anybody, but to just say that every year that we go to a bowl game, that's good enough. And I think in his mind, he's starting to raise the level of expectation. Well, just going to a bowl is not good enough. So let's get to the SEC championship game. Let's be in the first anywhere from 1 to 3 in the East. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and make that run to the SEC and hopefully on to college football playoffs, because I think a lot of times any team that comes out of the SEC is going to the playoffs. But anyway, he's just done an incredible job, man. He's done an incredible job, and he's changed the culture. He's replaced, a program that was struggling for a bit with the coach that was before him, and I'm glad that he's there, and I'm glad that he's a future guy. I'm hoping that he makes Kentucky home, and that he don't have to chase money because Mitch is throwing the bag at him. So he doesn't chase another opportunity because I think Mitch is going to match whatever another team, tries to give him. So I like him. I'm glad he's here with us.
Yeah, he's a really good coach. And, I'm like you. I hope he does stay because obviously as he grows and gets better, we know that the other schools are going to come after him because they say if you can turn Kentucky around, you can turn our program around. So it's definitely going to be hard to get him. And once you got done with college, man, I know you had dreams of playing in the NFL. You started out first going to the NFL Combine. You made a splash here. I'm going to go ahead and you can correct me wrong. You can correct me if I'm wrong because I think you had the highest vertical jump there. I think it was 38.5, and you ran a 4.4. You did well in all your skill stuff. So I guess just tell me, what was it like? I know you had a plan going into to the Combine.
Yeah, so I had been hurt. I mean, that's no secret. I had been hurt, but I also knew that this was really my chance to show people that I was really healthy. And I've been told numerous times by a lot of the scouts and GMs, and then also the coaches that drafted me in St. Louis, that if I hadn't been hurt, I'd have probably been a first or second round pick. But I just said to myself, I'm going to show, who's the best. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to really against the best talent in the world. I'm literally going to showcase that I am the best player in this draft in my position. And there were some guys that ran faster. There were some guys that did some things a little bit better than me. But as far as catching the ball, running routes, and explosion, I was up there with a lot of them. So it was a fun experience, man. I'm glad I got a chance to experience that.
Yeah, you obviously made yourself known. Obviously, you got drafted in the 4th round, to the St. Louis Rams, who's no longer there. Now it's the LA Rams. But just talk about playing at St. Louis. I know it was a short career for you, but just talk about that little experience you did have with the NFL.
It was a good experience, man. We were not a good team, but we made a lot of great memories. You know what I'm saying? In my stint in St. Louis. It sucks because you want to experience all aspects of football at that level, playing on Monday night, making it to the playoffs, playing, Saturday night, Sunday night games or what have you. And so, not to be able to experience some of those things in my career is definitely frustrating, but the experiences that I had were good. And I can say that I was among the best players in the world for that time period that I was in the league.
And I guess, man, looking at you, man, look like you still been staying in shape. You're working out. I guess, what are you doing during this quarantine time? What is the Keenan Burton workout plan that you've been doing to keep yourself in shape? Look like you can get on the field and go deep right now.
Man, 90 to 4-4 probably. I mean, shoot, Gary Williams can probably guard me right now, man. So, but I mean, I'm getting in and out of my breaks. But yeah, man, so I spend a lot of time with my son, a whole lot of time with my son and my wife. And I make sure that I get in the garage and work out and get into my workout area because it's important. And like I told you before when we started talking, I think right now is important to come out of this situation better. A lot of people are wasting time. A lot of people are not motivated to figure out how to create some abundance in their life right now, and that's just never been me. I'm a person that has to grow, and that's physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, and emotionally. And so, not only am I exercising my body, but I exercise my mind. I read a lot, and it's just about staying sharp, man. Staying sharp and being better. That's just really what it is. I take all the principles and philosophies that I've learned in the game, and I've applied it to my life now. So. But yeah, just in case somebody want to run up or grab me, I got to be prepared. I got to be prepared.
I like that. You always got to be prepared because you never know what situation you'll be in. And I guess what's going on all around the world with this social injustice, I guess I want to get your thoughts on it. You've been from Louisville, the whole Breonna Taylor situation, and we know about the George Floyd. And there's so many out there that probably we don't know about because it wasn't recorded. I guess let me get your thoughts on what is your thoughts and standing and moving forward. How can you think we can help change, this whole situation with this social injustice?
So systemic racism is real, right? So the problem, here's what happens. The issue is what people will say is that Black people have equal opportunity to succeed, which is true. It's very true. Black people do have equal opportunity. The problem is a lot of times you're not given the same tools to succeed. So even though I have the chance to build a house or build a multi-million-dollar mansion, if I don't have the right type of material to do it, it's not going to look like yours, and there's going to be holes in it, right? And so I think what we've got to create is initiatives, and me and somebody from Louisville working on something to really create a situation where we give back to the urban areas. We're the example. We try to figure out how to fix that problem. But if you're white, and that's the answer. People, the question is, how can white people support? How can they understand? You're not going to understand from a Black person's perspective, but what you can do is have the conversation. Dickie Lyons wants to have the conversation. Other, white teammates of mine, they want to have the conversation. And then don't be ignorant to what you don't understand either. just because you think that it doesn't exist doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, because a lot of people are walking around unconsciously racist and they don't know it. They don't mean to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't mean to be, but because of their beliefs and how they were raised, they think that what they're seeing is normal. Well, just comply. Don't talk back. You know, all of these different things. Well, there's rights, there's fairness, there's all these different things that go into play. And also, you know, in society, some Black people are looked at as aggressive and angry. Sometimes you got to give people the benefit of the doubt too. And so you got to have the conversation, but you got to speak up when it's wrong. If it's not wrong and a Black person is wrong for, you know, not complying from the standpoint of doing something they're not supposed to do, then I'm not saying you don't arrest them. I'm simply saying, how would you handle this situation if it was a white person too?
Mm-hmm.
You know, give them their day in court. Let them speak for themselves. And if they're guilty, they're guilty. But let them speak. And if they're dead, they can't do that.
Right.
So, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, I was saying, I totally agree with you, man. I think that we have a lot of people that's not educated on the situation, you know, where
right.
racism, socialism, all that. I think people are just not educated on, and that's why we have these, you know, and everybody's stereotypes. And I think that if we can get away from the stereotype that, you, like you said, we're aggressive, we're loud, you know, and then, you know, even Black people thinking maybe all white people are racist, which is not true. So I think it's on both sides.
Right.
We have to educate ourselves on that for sure.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. You can't, just like Black people don't want white people to paint everyone with the same brush, you don't want to paint every white person with the same brush. I mean, I've been in situations where, you know, a lot of white people have helped me. They brought me in. I've been robbed by Black people before, you know? So at the end of the day, that's just where we at. Man, my bad.
No, bad. He want to get. He can get in on it, man. Introduce who is this little man?
So this is Keenan Burton. This is my son, the one that makes sure I'm in shape, the one that's all over the place. I told him to stay upstairs until I got done, but you see where he's at. So, you know, he's got his own mind, does his own thing.
Hey, that's good though, man. He want to hang around Pops. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hang out, get educated. Okay. Yeah. Oh, if he want to say something, let him say something. Go ahead, man. What do you want to say?
You want to say hi? Okay.
All right.
What's your name?
Burton.
Keenan Burton?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How old are you?
Can I finish now?
No.
No, you're all good, man. Like, look, I can wrap it up here, man, because you got your son, you got things you got to do. I want to say, Keaton, man, it's always good catching with you, man. I want to wish you the best. You got your lovely son there. You got your family. It's always good catching up with you, man. Anytime you need anything, just reach out, holler at me. I got you.
No, I appreciate that, man. You know, it's likewise. It's all love when I see you. And so maybe we can get together when I come to Lex for a game or something after, or something like that.
No doubt.
All right, man. You want to say bye?
Bye.
Say go Cats.
Go Cats.